DIYers, hey, what's going on, Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel? Thank you for watching. We're talking brake pads today, and if you got that question, how do I tell or when do I know when it's time to replace my brake pads? We are going to show you two cool little tools or gauges, and we are going to inspect brake pads that have already been removed, and we are also going to use those gauges on an actual vehicle and brake pads that are installed on our Toyota Corolla. Let's take a look. All right, DIYers, we're at the workstation, and before we actually head out to the vehicle and use these gauges, I want to introduce you to the gauges. And on the left-hand side, you can see a 3-color coded gauge, which consists of the colors green, yellow, and red. And on the right-hand side, you see a pen-style gauge. And as far as the measurements on that, it goes from 0 millimeters all the way up to 14 millimeters. And that pen-style gauge is only metric. However, to the left, back to the color-coded gauge, this gauge gives you both metric and standard measurements, or in other words, in millimeters as well as in inches. And let's introduce you to the color-coded gauge first. And check this out. And red, yellow, and green, and the very bottom portion of the gauge, or testing gauge portion, you see 2 millimeters or 0.0787 inches. And you will notice this is basically the needle tip of all of the gauge options, going all the way up to the very top, a thick gauge tip here, and that is 12 millimeters or 0.4724. And I will set that down and bring in the pen style gauge and all the way up to the top where all the measurements and numbers are. Again, this is only in millimeters. And I'm going to press the little tip in and flush with the silver line or gray line. And you see 1.5, and I'll come all the way down. Here's 2, and then there's an empty or blank rectangle below the 3, and that's basically 0, or it is 0. And counting up by 0.5s, so again 0, 0.5, 1, and 1.5 is the very first number that actually registers or is printed on this gauge. And now at that point, moving forward or counting up, it only counts up with whole numbers. As you can see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 being the highest number of the gauge. And the way this is going to work, when we use it, we are going to use this tip and that tab there to press the needle tip to the rotor, and the rotor is going to basically push out this portion of the gauge and we'll get our readings. However, with this one, we are going to carefully insert the tip of each measurement gauge or option inside between the rotor and pad plate that the pads actually connect and secure to, and we are going to measure the gap or slot in between the two, and red being the smallest and green being the largest. And basically, when using this tool, think of it as a stoplight, and what I mean by that is when it's green, you can continue to go. You do not have to stop. However, once it turns yellow or amber, it triggers your brain to that decision. Okay, do I continue going or do I stop? In most cases, you have about 5 seconds until that amber or yellow light turns red. So in other words, if you use this gauge and your measurement falls inside the yellow, you still have a little bit of life on your brake pads and you don't technically have to replace them right away. However, if the stoplight turns red, well, long story short, we all know it's time to stop. And think about the red portion of the gauge. If your measurement of your brake pad or wear in your brake pads fall into the red when using this gauge, DIYers, it's safe to say it is extremely recommended to replace your brake pads. Or in other words, it's not safe to continue driving your vehicle with your brake pads in that condition. So with that said, as far as the measurements, again, 2 all the way up to 12 millimeter wise, I'll set that aside. In front of us now are 2 brake pads I have removed from our 2018 Chrysler Pacifica, and I'm going to use these pads as dummy pads and show you how to use each of the gauges. And we will start with the color-coded gauge, and the brake pad itself, I'm going to use the inboard, which has the bow tie clip on it. And as far as the brake pad you are looking at, this is the part that mates with the piston inside the caliper, and this is the part that mates with the rotors. These are your brake pads. And then you've got the plate that the brake pads are secured onto. And when the brake pad is again installed, the rotor will be flush and mating with this portion of the brake pad. And you carefully slide this tool in the gap in between your rotor and the plate. Again, this plate right here that the pads are secured into. And starting with the very bottom, you will notice that the gauge itself is much smaller than the pad. In other words, you can really have some play to move this gauge in between this back plate and the rotor. And continuing on, there's still more pad than gauge, and that's a good thing. We are now on to the yellow, and we still have more pad than gauge. And again, that's a good thing. We are continuing to get further and further away from the red. However, we are now looking at 5 millimeters. You can see just above my thumb. And we still have, again, more pad than gauge, but not much. And coming up to 6 millimeters, and that looks like we've got no more room. You might actually not be able to fit this 6 millimeter gauge in between the rotor and that plate. However, since the pad is off, I'm able to do that. However, I don't know, DIYers, what do you think? Continuing on and up to the green, and there is definitely more gauge than pad when flush against the pad plate and where the rotor would be. And we are in the yellow. And again, reverting back to our stoplight theory, it is safe to continue. However, not like a stoplight where it turns red in about 5 seconds. Once we use that gauge and determine that we are in the yellow, we can have about maybe 6 months or a year, just depending on how much you drive. Now to the pen style, and I'm going to push this all the way in and extend the needle all the way out, and the needle and this little tab here will play a crucial role when using this tool or gauge. And again, going back to the pad, and this is how it's going to be installed. And again, this is going to mate with your piston. The pad itself will be mating with your rotor, and you will bring this tool in, and this tab right here will mate flush with the back portion of your pad. And this pin will press against the rotor, and I'm going to use my finger to demonstrate the rotor. And I'm going to basically not allow, or do my best not to allow the pin to push my finger away from the pad. And I'm just going to push the gauge in until this tab is flush with the back side. And then we will get our measurement. And there it is. I'll set the pad down, come to the back side, see where our measurement is. And you can see it's just getting into the 7. See that? Just above 6 and into 7, but not touching the lower line of the 8 category or section. So again, let's just use 6 or 7. Come back to our color-coded gauge, see where we fall. There's 6 and 7. And again, when we were doing this a little bit ago using this gauge, we were basically right at that 6. So very accurate when comparing the two gauges. Now to a different camera angle, and I'm going to pick up the pad, and the pad itself has what's called a wear or J-hook. And when the pads are installed in the caliper, the J-hook wear tab should not touch the rotor. And you can see with the life of the actual material of the pad, when pressed against the rotor, which would be my finger here, there is not a chance that this wear tab can make contact with the rotor, because again, the thickness of the pad is too much to allow that. In other words, the pad itself is not giving the clearance for this tab to touch the rotor. And when it does, unfortunately, you get that annoying screeching sound. And in addition, check out this center slot. That is also a wear slot or wear gap in DIYers. We can definitely see that there is a gap. And looking at that gap, we still have a lot of life on these pads themselves. However, in the event that you pull your pads off and you do not see a gap, or in other words, this gap is completely worn off, you will then see that the pads themselves are much more worn down and not much pad you will have compared to this. In addition, going back to this little J-tab or wear tab, if that is already making contact with the rotor, you are going to have a screeching sound, and that is your indication that yes, you need to replace your brake pads. However, if it is not making that screeching sound, a few additional things to look at. Again, the thickness of your brake pads by using those gauges that we just showed you, as well as the center wear slot or gap on your pads. If they look as good as these ones do, your pads are still good. In addition to that, if you have uneven wear on your pads, it is definitely time to replace your pads and likely lubricate your caliper slides, or your caliper, believe it or not, may need to be replaced. We would start by lubricating your slides first and see if that fixes it. In addition, if you have cracked pieces of your pad that have fallen off, DIYers, I strongly encourage you to replace your pads. And on top of that, in the event that you are inspecting your pads and everything is still present, nothing has cracked and fallen off, however, you see what looks like a spider web of cracks, that is an indication that you have an excessive amount of heat taking place on your rotor and pads. and that is usually caused by a caliper in its early stages of failure, and the piston inside the caliper is not retracting and allowing that brake pad to release its tension against the rotor while you're driving. Or going back to the caliper slides, it's likely that your caliper slides have lost its lubrication over the years and they need to be lubricated. And or the caliper slide boots, which is rubber, they may have dry rotted and cracked and allowed moisture inside and seized the caliper slide. And if that's the case, and you've got one caliper slide not retracting or allowing the caliper to slide, that will lead a portion of your brake pad pressed against the rotor that's spinning while you're driving, and that excessive heat will generate. From here, let's head out to the vehicle. DIYers, we have made our way out to the garage, and in this video, again, we are going to be working or referencing a 2022 Toyota Corolla, and we're going to focus on the front driver's wheel and hub assembly and brake pad and caliper housing. And we are first going to use the pen style gauge. And long story short, DIYers, this really becomes a two-person job because we need one person in the driver's seat to compress the brake pads by pushing on the brake pedal, because if they don't, this gauge will give you inaccurate readings. Making our way down and closer to the wheel and rim and coming inside where the caliper is, and there the brake pads are, as you can see, right inside there. And right now, the brakes inside are not compressed, or in other words, no one's inside the car pressing the brake pedal. And because of that, the piston inside the caliper has retracted and allowed the brake pads to shift back and no longer contact the rotors. So there is a gap inside between the brake pads and the caliper. And again, if we just insert that gauge and use it how I demonstrated it at the workstation, we will get inaccurate readings. But the cool thing about this gauge, again, the pen style gauge, you can use it and determine whether or not you need new brake pads without actually having to remove your wheel. However, you need that second person inside the car to compress the brakes. I'm going to remove the tire and rim to give you a better view. And we did just that. We have removed the tire and rim, and DIYers, for safety purposes, never ever rely on a jack to hold your car up. Always insert a jack stand, as you can see we have, again, for safety purposes. And here is our entire caliper, brake pad housing, rotor, lug nut studs, and more. And here is the outboard brake pad. And coming to the front portion of the caliper, you have what's called an inspection window or opening. And inside there, you can see one of the brake pads. And again, that's our inboard brake pad. Coming up, I want to show you or get you familiar with our rotor and the design of it. Check this out. We have two plates, a rear or inboard plate, and then a gap or slotted design in the center, and the outboard plate. And that's important when coming inside the inspection window and making your measurements or inspecting your brake pads to figure out whether or not you have to replace them. And as you can see, our inboard brake pad has a lot of material or life left on it, as you can see by referencing that rear gap or slot. And coming inside here, the brake pad is not positioned in a way where we can see the outboard. However, coming inside this little slot right here, you will notice that again, our brake pad inside has a gap. It is no longer mating with the rotor. So I'll have someone get inside the vehicle and compress the brake pedal. To an update coming to the rear portion, the brakes are compressed, as you can see with the brake lights. I'll position the camera and use that gauge to test the brake pads. To a different camera angle, we are now looking at the very top portion of the caliper, and this is the caliper bracket, and this is the brake pad housing. And again, we are using the pen style gauge first. This is how I have it configured, all the way pressed in and the needle all the way extended out. And I'm going to carefully, again, reference that tab and carefully push in. And at this point, the pin or needle is pressed against the rotor, and all I'm going to do is press it in as shown here until that tab is flush with the plate of the brake pad. I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to show you the reading. And as you see, in our case, it is a 10. And that makes sense because this car only has 11,000 miles on it. So the brake pads should not be worn out to a point where I should have any worry or concern about it. In other words, they should still be in the green. So again, that is how you properly use this pen style gauge to determine the reading of your brake pad wear. Take a step back, and no one is inside the vehicle pressing on the brake pedal. And we are now going to use the color-coded gauge. We'll show you how to use that. We're going inside to that inspection gap or window. Now to a really good close-up view of the inspection window and inside where the inboard brake pad is mating with the rotor. And again, I'm going to use this 3 color-coded gauge to test the overall wear of our brake pad. Coming in from above, again, the red is the very needle fine tip or point of the gauge and lets us know that it is definitely time to replace our pads. However, on the opposite end, the green is much larger, and that's where I expect our brake pads to be, because again, we only have 11,000 miles on this vehicle. And because of that, I'm going to start with the largest of the gauge, and that is a 12 millimeter. And I'm going to come inside the inspection window as shown there and rest it inside and flush with the rotor on the right and see if I can actually fit this inside. And yes, I can. And DIYers, believe it or not, that is 12, if not just under. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shift down to the 10 millimeter and come in and see the overall clearance that our 10 millimeter gauge gives us. And there is a lot. Check that out. I can actually move it back and forth. Look at that. Back to the 12, I'm thinking that the 12 might be just a little too big, but really not. I mean, it's inside the gap between the rotor and the back portion plate of the pad assembly. And unlike the 10, I just can't move the 12. So again, DIYers, that's how you use the 3 color-coded gauge. And you can do this entire project by yourself. You won't need someone inside the vehicle pressing the brake pedal. Take a step back, and we just inspected and got a measurement on the inboard pad. We want to inspect the outboard pad. And the inspection window only allows you to inspect and get a good reading or measurement on the inboard pad. From here, we are going to use the slot below and the slot above. And come in carefully, and again, use the gauge to check the overall measurement of the pad. And just like the inboard, I'm looking right at 10 millimeter. As well as down to the bottom. And same thing, 10. How awesome. However, DIYers, if your vehicle's 5, 7, maybe 10 years old, you've never replaced your pads, you're not going to get good readings like this. And DIYers, that's it. From here, do us a favor below the video. You will see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely ring your YouTube bell. That would be very helpful to us. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching.